Good morning, friends. Happy Wednesday and 100 Days to Brave, day 96. We are almost there, and I am committed to finishing this by the end of the year. I'm committed to finishing this before Christmas, really, because I can. We have 5 days left of this book, and there's more than 5 days before Christmas, so that's what I'm going to do. Next year, I have something so exciting and fun and really, hopefully, thought-provoking, identity-inspiring for us next year. So, stay tuned for that. But for now, we are going to finish out our Be Brave series. And y'all, this has been a long 100 days. But it really shows you that it's very hard to be, with certain things, it's very hard to be super duper consistent with something. Like there's certain things that it's easier to be more consistent with, but this, and I go in little spurts, little phases. I used to be so consistent several years ago, and I'm committed to getting back to that. All right, here we go. So this section is called Brave Enough. Brave choices always have ripple effects. I love that. That's true. And I've seen that play out in my own life. There's things that I've had to be extremely brave for based on either my mindset, my belief, my situation, circumstance, whatever, that maybe other people, it's just common everyday stuff for them. But, then for me, it's like, next level bravery. And the same thing for other people. There's things that I do all the time, every day, without even thinking about it. But other people are like, how are you that brave to do XYZ, whatever it is? And I'm like, I just do it. I just do it. So we're all different, but everything has ripple effects. All right, brave enough. Here we go. Jesus was brave. And y'all, he is our example. He is our model. He is our older brother, if you want to think of it from that perspective. We are all born again into the nature and DNA of God. Our first nature and DNA was of the enemy, just because that's the seed line we were born into. But then when you are born again, you become a Christian, you switch seed lines. It's very quantum, it's very spiritual thing to think about. It's not natural realm. It's not taste, touch, see, feel. It's not that. It's like, it's next level. But it's still true. Doesn't make it not true. It's very true. A lot of us just can't comprehend to that level. I can now. Haven't always been able to. But anyway, say all that to say. So see Jesus as your older brother. He was born literally of the seed of God. And then when we're reborn, we become a Christian. We carry that seed line also. Yay. All right. So he was brave. Let's look at that. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. John 15:18, and that is Jesus talking. So think, if we're his younger brother or sister, it hated him first. So his family line, his seed line, is going to be the same with us. And that's fine. I wish it wasn't that way, but just to know that and to accept that and be like, okay, when people hate me, they resist me, they whatever, nothing's gone wrong. Just the fact that he shares this with us and lets us know, hey, it's fine. It's not great. Of course, we all want it to be different, but it doesn't mean that you've done wrong. It doesn't mean that anything's gone wrong. Expect it, actually. And so it can help our mindset and refocus us on our goal isn't to be liked and loved. We will be, yes, by the right people. But also, if the world hates you, keep in mind it hated me first. That's going to come as well. When we're really, really being about the stuff we feel called to be about, there's going to be haters. And that speaks of them, not of you. It speaks of their heart posture. It speaks of their, mostly it speaks of their, the areas where they're confused. The areas where they don't have curiosity. They don't have capacity. And so now that I see it that way, it helps me have so much more compassion and curiosity with people. Being a coach helps too, because I'm just curious with people. I don't have an agenda. I don't have an outcome. I don't have anything that I'm like so set on. If you work with me, I'm like, you tell me what you want. You tell me where you feel stuck. And I am going to get curious with love and advocate for where you want to be. You know, I mean, it helps me see that people very, very, very stuck in their own mindset. People are stuck in their own way, but also we can be that way to ourselves. We can be that way with other people. Be grumpy and grouchy because we like it our way. We want it our way. And I now see like this, they just don't have the capacity. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the wisdom. They don't have the whatever to step outside of what they feel so safe in, if that makes sense. All right, anyway, let's go. I could preach on that forever because I love it. I understand it so differently now. As I am now in my mid-30s, Jesus and I have lived on earth about the same amount of time, give or take. It's crazy to think about. We both lived through our 20s. He with no mistakes or regrets. Me with enough for us both. And I will step in here and say, me as well. In my 20s, oh my gosh. Some of the things that I did and just the stuff I look back and I'm like, you needed to grow up. And now in my 40s, I'm like, I am so glad that I have that experience and I have that wisdom and that I have grown and now I just live so different from a place of my heart and my mind. And so I can say too, yeah, I made enough mistakes. I drank enough for me and everybody on the whole planet. Not proud of that, but I did. And you know what? It is what it is. All right. Something gets very real about Jesus being human when you are the same age as he was. When you only think about Jesus as divine, then you sort of miss the fact that Jesus is human. And y'all, that is a really cool thing to dig into, to dive into. And if you want more, like if you're so curious and even like confused about that and you want more information, there's a guy that I listen to teach on this in a very, very rich and profound way. Stuff I have never, ever, ever heard at church. It is way deeper, way more like next level than our normal church stuff, or at least for me. It is so good and it helps you understand this in such a different but really life-changing way. Jesus is human. And then when I was talking about the seed line thing, very much he had the divine nature of God, seed line, when I'm talking about when he was born here, but then also he had Mary. He had DNA from Mary. So he had two. He did not have male seed DNA when he was on the earth. He had divine seed DNA and Mary. Ta-da! All right, so he was human. So when my mind and heart began to reflect on the two natures a bit, everything changed. I realized just how brave Jesus was. He walked away from a job that was stable. I can relate to that. Actually, it wasn't even a stable job because they let me go because I didn't want to jabbed in my arm. So talk about stability. That's not stable at all. All right, moving on. He walked away from a respectable life to become homeless and to roam around Israel for 3 years talking about the kingdom of God. What a shift in lifestyle, shift in everything, really. Especially when people were like, I mean, there was a lot of people that loved it. They were really like captivated by him and believed him, and their lives were changed and transformed and healed and all of that because of him. But there was also a bunch of haters, which I guess points us right back to the scripture that we started with. I can't imagine my friends turning on me the way Peter turned on Jesus. I can't imagine church leaders hating me the way they hated Jesus. I can't imagine being brave in all the ways he was. I can't imagine not knowing him. I'm so glad I get to. Something changed the closer I got to his age. I started to know him differently. I saw him like one of my friends, like one of the dudes I hang out with all the time. He's not some adult doing adult things. He's my age. And I, excuse me, see Jesus that way now too. And now I am older than what he was. So it's just interesting to have lived my life of silliness and then to be Jesus's age, made much better choices then and from then on. And now to be older than him, and I'm like, I can see him as like my age, somebody that I could, like she said, like just a dude to hang out with. He's a friend. Like we can relate to the same age-related life, what word am I trying to say? Like things that happen, life stage, like certain life stage things. I can relate. And I can imagine him and like mentally, because he's always with us, but like I can mentally connect on a different level with him and just imagine him being here with me or wherever I go. It's cool. It stokes my fire of courage, remembering that Jesus did some majorly brave things right here, right where I am. Single like me, also like me. Human like me, also like me. Sinless, unlike me, hey, but tempted like me. And he took a risk on me. He took a risk on you. Took a risk on all of us. He asked his disciples to do the same. To give up everything and follow him. And he asks us to do the very same thing. Now, he doesn't say, he may say this to you, but just because in the Bible they gave up every single thing, traveled around with him, like they gave up their home and their job and their all this stuff. He doesn't necessarily call us to be homeless and go live in a box, but he does call us to give up certain things, certain ways of life, certain ways of thinking, certain just like tormenting stuff that keeps us separated from kingdom thinking, kingdom living, kingdom beliefs, kingdom identity. That's what he wants us to have. So he wants us to let go of and get rid of everything that keeps us not aligned with the kingdom, so that we can be so aligned with the kingdom that our life is just amazing from kingdom, spiritual, heavenly perspective. And it looks different from the way the world makes us think we need to live. Like we are so conditioned, and I realize it more and more and more every day, how conditioned I am to think and believe certain things. And I'm like, that seemed so subtle, but I'm like, wow, once I saw this differently and got a hold of this for myself, oh, I see it so different now, and it's awesome, and it's freeing, and it's wonderful. All right. To live our lives bravely as he lived his. Pouring it out for a hurting, hostile world. The world hated Jesus. Now, the world did. Not everybody. There were some people that absolutely loved him. They got on board with kingdom living right away, kingdom beliefs right away, but the world. And when you understand if you understand the different realms, there's the heavenly realm, there's the supernatural spiritual realm, there's the earth natural realm. That's really where more of the world kind of stuff is. There's a mindset that goes along with that. There's a belief system that goes along with that. There's a lot to it, but the world as people that couldn't get on board with him. Think of it in that category. The world hated Jesus. But he was brave enough to give his life for it anyway. What love. Because from his perspective, he's like, I want everybody in the kingdom. I want them to know this life. To know how awesome, how real, how transformative it is. He wants all of us to be his true brothers and sisters. So didn't let that bother him or get in his way. He was like, he was advocating so much for us all being part of his kingdom, his family, his belief system, his DNA seed line, his nature, like all of that. He wants it so bad for all of us that he was like, I don't care. I'm going to move all of this, having a specific outcome and having like an agenda. I mean, his agenda is to get everybody to be in the kingdom, but that can look different ways when you show up with different people, show up to different conversations or whatever. He was just brave enough to live a life of such love, of such like radical curiosity to help people get curious for themselves and think different. It's just so cool. And now that I live that way as much as I can, I learn every day. It's just cool to not, my agenda is not to be liked. My agenda is to love on other people. And so like my focus and my attention shifts of what I'm about. And that way, like, I don't care what you can like me or don't like me. I don't really care. That's not my goal. I mean, I hope you do, but if you don't, that's fine. I'm still going to be nice to you. I'm still going to be kind and loving. But, you know, like your goal and your motive shifts, just like his did, when you're like, I'm just going to be brave because I want all the brothers and sisters in the kingdom. The truth of who Jesus is and what he did on earth. The Son of God who came to earth to take on our sins is the most courageous thing this planet has ever seen. Isn't that cool to think about? And here again, I'm saying us Christians, believers who have been around this kind of teaching for a long time, we are so familiar with this. And I think we are too familiar with this sometimes. But when you hear this talked about and explained from a different perspective, like who I was telling you about that I've been listening to lately, it takes on a whole new meaning. You get a whole different appreciation for all of this, for what Jesus did, for now who we are because of him, in him. Like, it completely transforms how you see it all, and you see it so much deeper, so much richer. It is so much more exciting. It like just fuels and fires up your identity and what you believe and what you know and what you realize you have the authority to do and stand for. It is amazing. And I'm like, man, we need this kind of teaching in church. So it is awesome. But the bottom line is Jesus was brave. He did not get in his own way. He did not get in his own head about anything. He had kingdom thoughts, kingdom mindset, kingdom focus everywhere he went. So it's like he was focused on, all right, what do you want me to do with this situation? What do you want me to do with this person? What do you want me to do with this conversation? Like, he wasn't outcome driven. He was present moment, in the moment, focused on whatever it was that God was telling him to do. He was getting like kingdom orders, kingdom instruction, kingdom thinking. He was bringing life to every situation. He was bringing life to where there wasn't life. That was his focus. It's so cool when you see it that way. He was very much just present right here. What does this moment need? What does this person, this situation, like, what does this need? You can't be focused on even like an hour from now if you're that focused on, God, here I am right now. What does this situation need? Like, how exciting is that? And I try to do that more and more. The more I get good at it, the better I can do. But like, even that was a shift for me to think that present moment with that kind of kingdom authority. So cool. Oh, it's so cool. It's so exciting. All right, so let's do more of that. Here we come, 2026. We're bringing the kingdom big time. So, all right, so be brave. Thank Jesus for the courage let me start that again. Thank Jesus for the courage he showed in all the Bible stories you have ever read about him. And then get inspired by the courage that he showed. Remember, he's our older brother. He's the first brother. He's the firstborn. He's the oldest. All of us are born into his family after him. So he's our brother. He's the first of this seed line, the first of this nature. We also share this nature. Part human, part divine. So cool. So we can do the things that he did. I don't think that we're taught that properly. Some people teach that. Some people believe that. Some people live that out constantly. But for the most part, I don't see that lived out. I don't see that taught. And maybe it has been taught in a little wonky way before, and you're like, oh, I don't believe that. That's heresy. But when you hear it taught the right way, it will change how you see everything. It will change how you see yourself. And it's very, very, very cool. All right, so I hope this was a little bit uncomfortable for you, just enough to like take you to the next step. Like I'm always hopeful that, because I hope this for myself too. I hope that things are just uncomfortable enough that it moves you forward in a way that is filled with hope and excitement and curiosity. Because if we do too much at once, then it can be kind of like overwhelming. But I love how God just like gently moves you forward. Gently, gently, gently. It's an ongoing thing, like forever and always. So I hope this was just uncomfortable enough in whatever way to move you forward 1% or 5%. I don't know, but at least 1%. And bottom line of everything, I hope it just made you curious. And that's what I do now. I stay curious about everything. Everything. Just because it's a new idea, a new thought, a new whatever, I don't instantly get in fear mode about it. Oh, it's not what I've ever heard before. We don't know everything. We haven't heard everything. God hasn't even revealed everything. So there is always more. When we get fear-based about it, that muddies the waters. But when we can stay purely curious and letting God help us know and discern, like, yes to this, no to this, or yes to this, but like let's tweak how we see it. That's what I love, because I want to know, like I want to know the mystery. I want to know all the stuff that I haven't known yet. You know, that's exciting to me. So just because it's new doesn't mean that I'm going to get all squirrely about it. I'm going to have discernment when it's new, but I'm also going to get very excited and consider that, hey, I don't know everything, neither does anybody else. So, anywho, all right, well, I hope y'all have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Oh, I forgot what I was saying. I hope this was helpful and inspiring and encouraging and all that. If you know somebody that would be encouraged by this or who needs to hear this, they've shared with you that this is something they're dealing with, tag them in this video. You can share the video also if you want to do that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Now I can go.